Hello, good people. Welcome to Raw Vegan Rising. My name is Shane Sterling. How are you doing today? Thank you for clicking on this video. How to rebuild the gut after a juice fast. This is a highly requested video and a follow-up to my very popular video, How to Do a Juice Fast, Why You Need to Do One. I believe juice fasting is actually the easy part, and the harder part is actually rebuilding the gut after the juice fast, long term, how to stay raw vegan for the year following a juice fast. It's actually a lot harder work. It takes a lot more focus and dedication. It takes a lot more problem solving and facing our fears and reaching these breakthroughs than the juice fast itself. The juice fast is the easy part because we know what to do. We have our guidelines, we have our plan, we're making juice, we're drinking juice, but when we come off of the juices, all of a sudden we find ourselves in this wide open world. We can eat anything. We don't know if we should have fats or not have fats. We don't know what to eat. We get digestive issues. We start to have our old cravings come back, and all of a sudden we find ourselves panicking and not knowing where to turn. So this video is to outline the process as best as I understand it, working with clients and members over years, helping people juice fast. This is what I've learned, and this is what I believe is the way we can stay raw vegan post-juice fast to rebuild the best gut health of our life, to heal degenerative conditions, irritable bowel syndromes, skin inflammation, or all inflammation diseases, and get our life back on track, reclaim our life, reclaim our narrative. The first thing I'm going to talk about, which is the preface to the entire process here, is our why. I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to talk about it again. We need to have a why, because if we're going to face our fears, if we're going to face the inmost cave, the darkest part of ourselves, if we're going to go on the hero's journey, we need to know why we're doing it. We have to have our values clearly outlined. We have to have our mission clearly outlined. We have to know what we are taking a stand for. And we have to know what our vision is that is leading us forward. I highly recommend anyone who is doing a juice fast, who wants to clean out the gut and transition to a raw vegan diet and lifestyle, to write down these components. Write down your values, write down your vision, write down what you're taking a stand for, and write down your mission. This is critical. When you're struggling, when you want to give up, when it's hard, when you're at rock bottom and you think you have to go back and turn back and you don't think this is doable, you have to turn to your values, your mission, what you're taking a stand for. That will pull you forward, okay? I can't recommend it enough. It's really important and not to be underestimated, okay? And it goes with everything in life. No matter what we're doing, we gotta know our why. So define your big why, capital W, capital H, capital Y. When you get clear on your why, then we can go into the next step. Okay, number one is breaking the fast. Breaking the fast is probably the hardest part. We're done with our juice fast. We think we've already accomplished the hardest part. But breaking the fast requires us to go slow. It requires patience. The risk of breaking a fast incorrectly is not that bad. It's that we get constipated. But to avoid constipation, congestion in the bowels that lead to gas and bloating and discomfort, which can be very discouraging and very disheartening after a long juice fast, we want to just follow the simple guidelines that the following week, really the 7 to 14 days post-juice fast, we want to treat our bowels like a tender little baby. Like a baby obviously isn't very strong. They can't really walk very well. Their muscles haven't developed. This is what happens with our gut. The muscles atrophy over time. If we've gone 30 or 60 days or even longer, we need to give our GI tract time to rebuild the strength, to move the fiber through. Okay, so we want to go slow and we want to work with really high juicy fruits, easy to digest, and slowly work up to greens and fats. Start with all the juicy fruits and bring salads in maybe after the first week. Okay, so that's what I recommend. Also, maybe avoid bananas for the first few days or a week at least. Okay, so the first week should be juicy fruits like watermelon and peaches and citrus and oranges and grapefruits and pineapples and things that are high water. Also high enzyme. Make that digestion process easy. And then as you start to have bowel movements again and you feel the musculature working again, then bring in tender greens, light salads, small amounts of fats, and slowly build up, okay? You can do it. It's the best thing to do to go slow, and you don't want to regret it, and you don't want to feel discouraged right out of the gate, okay? Number 2, 80-10-10, low fat. Coming off a juice fast, I believe we should probably stick to low fat for a period of time, 80-10-10, which means 80% of calories from fruits and carbohydrates, 10% of calories from fat, 10% of calories from protein. Low fat allows our body to detoxify properly. Normally, we're going to be coming to a juice fast because we have some sort of health issue. We either are led to a raw vegan diet out of desperation or inspiration, and 90% of the time it's desperation. We're trying to heal a health problem or a degenerative condition or irritable bowels or something. And so if that's the case, low fat allows our body to continue to detoxify after the juice fast. And what's really amazing is that the juice fast, we might not even have that many detox symptoms. But when we start eating solid food again, all of a sudden we'll start to have strong detox symptoms. Why is that? Because the body requires so much energy for digestion that it has to take it away from the elimination process, the detoxification process, to digest the food. And all of a sudden we were on juices all this time and feeling pretty good. And then we bring in solid food and now all of a sudden we're sneezing, achy, fever, we feel the detox symptoms set in. This is because the body really is diverting energy to digestion. Okay, so if we can keep the digestion high water, high carbohydrate, easy to digest, high energy fruits, it's going to allow the body to just continue to focus on elimination as easily as possible. Part of the success of maintaining a raw vegan diet long term, like for a year, is really the fact that we are going to get past our health problems. And if we're doing this for health problems in the first place, we got to make sure we're past our health problems. I went a year and a half 80-10-10 after my juice fast to heal my health issues, which was inflamed joints and seborrheic dermatitis. Okay, so a year and a half is how long it took me, and I'd really say that it's at least a year to do that. But it's not the end of the story, because I'm going to talk about in a little bit that there are times when we can have higher fats and enjoy a normal diet again that isn't low fat. But if we can master 80-10-10 low fat for that year of detox, then we are going to master the raw vegan diet. It is going to be so much easier and so much more rewarding to go to a higher fat diet later on or to experiment with our macros. Okay? Number 3 is bowel transit times and food combining. When we are breaking our fast and going back to solid food again after a juice fast, we really want to follow food combining for bowel transit time. Not food combining where we see these charts where don't combine melons and acid and subacid. I haven't found any of that to be true at all. I wouldn't worry about any of that and just let your body tell you if that's working or not. But what we do want to do food combining for is bowel transit time. We want to use fast digesting foods first that move through the bowels the quickest, like fruits and watery vegetables, and slower digesting foods second and third, like greens and fats. So what that would look like during the day would be having smoothies and fruits for lunch and breakfast, then bringing in a salad for lunch or dinner, and having fats on your dinner salad, like nuts and seeds and avocado, and using fats as the end of the day, maybe having a snack of fats at the end of the day to satiate before bed. That's how I did it, and that is what worked for me, and it not only allowed me to stay low fat doing it that way, but it allowed me to avoid bowel problems, digestive problems, and digestive interference as I was breaking my fast and rebuilding my gut. Because the rebuilding of the gut is a long process. It takes time. And so you want to support the body's ability to rebuild slowly. And so it's really that high water content, 80-10-10 style, combining foods for bowel transit time that really gives the body the chance to slowly rebuild. And that's why we got to do that for a whole year. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but a year is going to pass either way. And so this is your chance to wake up in a year from now and say, look at that, I've done it. I did the hard work and it was worth it. And otherwise, you're going to wake up in a year from now with the same health problems, the same person that never accomplished the goal. Okay. Number 4 is detox versus maintenance. Okay. We have to understand that there is a time for detoxing and then there's a time for a long-term raw vegan maintenance diet. They're completely different things. We don't want to confuse the two. And I think it is so common for people to blend the lines and think that the detox phase of a raw vegan diet, which can take a couple years, at least a year, is the same as the maintenance diet, which it's not. It absolutely is not. We need to focus on detox until we're free of our ailments, of our health issues, and our gut has transitioned. Then, once the gut is healthy, robust, our hydrochloric acid is strong, our digestion is good, our health issues are gone, then we can experiment finding the maintenance diet that works for us. And that really is finding the macro balance that works for us, the proteins, carbs, and fats that are going to work for us long term. So it's really important that we don't confuse detox and maintenance. And so most people hang out in the detox phase the first couple years of a raw vegan diet, or never make it past the first couple years of a raw vegan diet and think that all there is to a raw vegan diet is detoxing and that we're permanently perpetuating this detox lifestyle. I don't believe that's true. I believe a maintenance raw vegan diet is just like any other diet. It's proteins, carbs, and fats. If we're eating cooked food, you're getting proteins, carbs, and fats. If you're eating raw food, you're getting proteins, carbs, and fats. It's just better to eat raw food because then you have enzymes and nutrient and all those undenatured nutrients, right? So we don't want to confuse the two, and we want to realize that eventually we're going to be able to transition into a maintenance diet with proteins and fats to feel normal again, like we're not on this uphill journey to heal our gut or to heal our body. So it takes time. You have to stay dedicated. You've got to stay focused and you'll get there. Okay. It's really important. I've gotten there. I'm on this side of the vantage point saying maintenance diet over here. You guys are all in detox phase, but it's not the same thing. And I'll tell you right now, being raw vegan for 3 years, my diet is normal. I don't have to food combine. I don't have to worry about it. I can eat whatever I want in any order I want, in any quantity I want for the most part and feel completely normal, like I'm just eating food like I used to feel on cooked foods, except now I'm on raw foods and it's amazing. And you can do that too. That's the goal, okay? All right, number 5 is macro balance and the changes over time. So I just kind of touched on this, but I'm going to elaborate slightly. Okay, the only way we're going to know what macro balance we're eating is if we track this in some sort of a calorie or macro tracker. Chronometer is one that is popular in the raw vegan community, and you can download it for free and use it and track your macros. So I highly recommend downloading Chronometer. There's others too. But if you track for just a period of time, like even just a few weeks or a month, you can start to see, oh, if I eat like this, I'm getting about 15% fat. Oh, well, if you eat like this, then I'm getting about 10% fat or 30% fat or 50% fat. Okay, so it's important to track it for a while to know what we're getting. And the macro balance is going to be key in understanding that you've transitioned, that you've made it to the other side, that you've healed your gut, that you've healed and fully done this raw vegan journey, this hero's journey. I personally find that higher fats are much more sustaining and natural feeling, and we're getting all of the omega-3s and the DHA that we require. And it's one of the biggest downfalls and pitfalls of a raw vegan diet and even a vegan diet is that we aren't getting enough omega-3 fats. We can't convert the DHA we need. We're not eating the blue-green algae for DHA, and we fall off, we get sick, we get deficient, and we go back to eating animal products. So we need to avoid that at all costs by making sure we're getting good amounts of omega-3 fats. And we do that by tracking our macro balance, watching the changes over time, and adjusting to higher fats and the balance that works for us as we transition into a maintenance diet. What works for us is based on our age, our constitution, where we live, what our climate is like, okay? And it's unique for you, and it's unique for every single person that does this journey. All right, number 6 is cravings and old emotional patterns. Okay, the cravings will hit you. The old emotional patterns will hit you. When you're coming off a juice fast and you go back to solid food, the surprising thing that nobody's expecting that will catch you off guard and hit you like a ton of bricks from out of nowhere is that all of a sudden you will be craving food like a MFer, like a banshee out of hell. You're going to be craving those foods again. And all of a sudden the emotional patterns kick into gear and you're triggered into your old ways of thinking. And that's the comfort zone trying to pull you back down to your comfort zone. Oh, go back to your old ways. It's okay. Just give in. Go back to the cooked potatoes, the vegan veggie burgers, or the meat and potatoes, whatever your thing is. But this is the time to stay strong, stay committed, and hook in to that big why that we talked about at the beginning of this video. Hook into your big why. You can overcome the cravings and old patterns with the raw foods and the juices. You stick to the raw foods. It's going to heal your cravings. It's going to heal your emotional patterns. I promise you it will. But you got to give it time. You got to give it a year. Stick to the raw foods for a year post juice fast, and you're going to be an emotionally different person. You will heal your traumas. You will heal your family lineage. And you will heal all these self-deprecating patterns that you run and have run your whole life. But it's not going to happen out of the blue. It's not going to happen just because you want it to happen. It's going to happen because you dedicate yourself to it and you make it happen. So this is one of the most important times of coming off of a juice fast and rebuilding the gut, is realizing that we are going to have cravings. All the smells of cooked food are going to tempt you. All the normal habits of being around our family, going out with friends. And that is not to be underestimated. And it brings me to my next point, number 7, which is breaking from tradition. One of the hardest parts of this transition, post-juice fast and the year following and rebuilding the gut, is that it's a breaking from tradition. To really rebuild your gut fully, to transition off of animal products and cooked foods, you have to be ready to break from tradition. Break from societal tradition, break from family tradition, and break from your own ingrained tradition that you tell yourself is who you are and these constructs you've built up around yourself. None of that is real. The only thing that's real is your highest spirit and where you are ascending to, your awakening, your ascension, the higher self that is calling you forth, the calling in your heart that has gotten you this far. And it's not to be something to just be turned away from. We have to know that it's hard to break from tradition. It's hard to do this work, okay? But there's nothing that could be more rewarding than reinventing ourselves. There's nothing that could be more empowering than rebuilding who we are from the ground up. Rebuilding our gut rebuilds our emotions. It rebuilds our neural associations. It rebuilds who we see ourselves in the world as. And in my process, I used to be cynical and pessimistic of the world. I didn't like being part of the world. And now I am contributing to the world, doing my best to be a voice and a light for truth and for change and for awakening, which is why I'm doing this work right now here with you, because I've broken from tradition. This isn't the me from 10 years ago. You would have never known me 10 years ago because I wasn't this person. I have reinvented myself. I have up-leveled my life in every single way. And along with becoming a raw vegan, I've started a new career. I am making more money than I used to make. I am happier and I'm a better husband and father. I show up for people and the consciousness of life in a whole new way that is way better than I ever used to be. So breaking from tradition is hard, but there's a whole new horizon of who you can become. It's hard work and it's worthwhile work. And time's going to pass either way. So I suggest you do it and you commit and you just do the work necessary to break from tradition. Okay, number 8 is it gets worse before it gets better. We have to realize coming off of a juice fast, which is the honeymoon phase, and wanting to rebuild our gut to be a raw vegan long-term and to thrive on a raw vegan diet, it gets worse before it gets better. We have to realize it's going to get worse before it gets better. This is not an easy thing to do. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for freaking warriors who are dedicated for this transformation. Don't be caught off guard by how darn hard this is. You got to dig deep. You got to get committed. You got to know why you're doing it. Again, refer back to that capital WHY as to why you're even here in the first place. If you are committed to your why, you can overcome the challenges. And when it gets really hard, before you hit your breakthrough, what's going to carry you through? It's your why, knowing why you're doing it, being committed to your vision. So physically real in your mind that you can feel it, you can taste it, you can touch it, you can see it. You're there in the future. You're creating from the future. It's like your future self has time traveled and is telling your past self who you're already going to become. You got to create it from the future to get through the parts where it gets harder before it gets better. And I am going to tell you right now, it gets worse before it gets better. So you got to be prepared for that. You got to be committed, and you got to be a freaking warrior who is willing to hold on to that vision when it gets hard. Hold the vision, not the circumstance, is what I always say. You know, when the circumstances fall apart, turn to your vision and hold that vision no matter what the circumstance is, and you will make it through, okay? All right, number 9 is detox symptoms and looking bad. Post-juice fast, as we're rebuilding our gut, it is a time for detox. This is when detox symptoms will get the worst. This is when we will fall into confusion, apathy, self-doubt, denial. The ego will be running rampant. The ego will try to talk us out of what we need. The ego will try to tell us that you can't continue. This is the right thing. You're becoming deficient. You're going to die. You're going to be skinny and malnourished, all these things, because we start looking bad when we're detoxing, and we get bags under our eyes, and we get skinny from juice fasting too long, and we haven't gotten back into our breakthrough rebuild time yet, and we are looking like crap, and everybody's telling us that you don't look so good. You know, what's on the other side of that, though? Look at me now, 3 years later. I'm on top of my game. I've never felt better in my life. The breakthrough happens, but it doesn't happen automatically. It happens when you stay committed to your detox symptoms and being okay with looking bad. Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. You got to problem solve the detox symptoms. You got to get committed to doing what it takes. Enemas, colonics, rebounding, light exercise, whatever it is to get through those detox symptoms. Meditation, long walks on the beach, connecting with God, your higher self, your spiritual guides, your angels, whatever it is, and relinquishing the egoic control of what you look like, relinquishing the egoic agenda to be looking a certain way. You'll have your time in the sun. You'll have your time to be on camera or an advocate for raw food or educating people about it or inspiring people about it. That's okay. You'll get there. But right now, you got to look like crap because you're going through your detox phase, okay? And no one is going to get to the other side without the detox phase. There's no getting out of this alive. It's detox to the other side. That's how it works. I've gone through my time. I sacrificed. I paid my dues. I looked terrible during my detox phase. In fact, if you go back to some of my early videos, you can see it. I don't even look like the same person. I just, I'm like, ooh, dark circles under my eyes. You can go back and look. Eventually I'm going to delete some of my old YouTube videos, but for now I'm leaving them up for just for the sake of reference. People can see the transformation that I've gone through. All right, number 10 is enzymes, rebounding, and exercise. So I took enzymes for the first year as I rebuilt my gut. I did Lifezyme by Paradigm. They are in my Amazon store. The link is in the description, amazon.com/shop/raw vegan rising. You can go to the enzymes and probiotics section, and you can see the Paradigm enzymes and probiotics there, which I used during my rebuilding phase. Now they come in powder and capsules. I recommend having both. The powder you can add to juices. The capsules, I was taking like 10 capsules a day for about a year. And yeah, you got to invest a little bit of money, but it's highly worth it. The bag of capsules is like 1,000 capsules for the price. Okay, and you might have to buy a few of those bags to get through, but it's worth the money to invest in enzymes. But also, rebounding and exercise plays a key role in moving the lymph, keeping the digestion flowing, and assisting the body with the process of getting strong again. Okay, so we cannot underestimate the power of exercise in combination with the rebuilding process. We can't rebuild our body, rebuild our gut, rebuild our mind, rebuild our identity without exercise. So you can start with something like rebounding, but you want to work into maybe light running or jogging, or ultimately the ultimate best exercise is free weights. Get some dumbbells at home or go to a gym and use some dumbbells, exercise the muscles, press overhead, do some rowing with free weights, and it will help rebuild your body. It'll help rebuild your confidence. It'll help rebuild the way you look. If we're coming out of a phase where we're looking terrible, okay? This is the time to use exercise to get strong, to get healthy, and to look and feel good again. So exercise is so key. Don't underestimate it. Don't overlook it. I know I can't tell you guys to go exercise, but it's how I did it. It's how I've gotten from where I started to where I am now. I exercise almost every day. I have to exercise because if I don't feel alive and on fire. I use exercise as part of my spiritual practice, part of my devotional practice, okay? So you can find that spiritual devotional practice for yourself. I can only talk about it from my vantage point, but it's something you're going to have to find for yourself, okay? All right, number 11, feeling good consistently. I once heard Fully Raw Christina say that it took her 2 years to feel good consistently on raw food, and that was at the beginning of my journey. So I was like, oh, when I get to the 2-year mark, everything will be better. But when I got to the 2-year mark, I still had issues. There were still little things that bothered me, okay? Maybe with digestion or this or that. It's only really since I've gotten to maybe the 2.5 or 3-year mark where I really can say, honest to goodness, that I feel good consistently 100% of the time. So I would say it's more of a 3-year journey than a 2-year journey. But just to put it into perspective, just to paint a realistic picture here for you, this is not a quick journey. You're not going to become a raw vegan overnight. You're not going to become a raw vegan in a 3-month juice fast. This is a lifestyle of rebuilding your life, reclaiming your life, being devoted and dedicated to the person you want to be based on your values, your vision, what you're taking a stand for, and your mission, okay? So getting to the 2-year mark or 3-year mark is really arbitrary. It's when you start to feel good consistently on raw food, that's when you know you've hit the breakthrough. And that leads me to number 12, breakthroughs. We're doing this for the breakthrough, okay? So when you have spent all this time investing into your gut, probiotics and enzymes, rebounding, building up an exercise routine, staying raw vegan through all the emotional transformation, all of the hardship, looking bad, detox, all of this leads you to the freaking breakthrough, what you've been waiting for. And it will come. It might come at 10 months. It might come at 1.5 years. It might come at 2 years or 3 years. It doesn't matter because it will come. If you dedicate and focus on this journey, this hero's journey, it will come. I guarantee you, okay? So you just need to pray that the breakthrough comes to you when it is your time, and stay to the mission and stay on track, okay? Which brings me to number 13, which is the new normal. Ultimately, it's bringing all of this that you've learned, all of this transformation and breakthrough, all of this facing our fears and our dark side, facing this emotional turmoil, healing our family lineage, our pain and our trauma and our baggage that we carry around with us our whole life. It is taking all of that inner wisdom, everything you've learned, and making it a new normal. This is where we redefine ourselves. This is where we come home to ourselves up-leveled. We come home to ourselves up-leveled, a whole new person. People will see it in our eyes and our energy. They will feel that we are somehow different, that we're looking good. We'll get compliments. This is the point where we can now assist people on their journey. We can talk about it with confidence. We can inspire others by the journey we've been on. not because we've acquired book knowledge and we have scientific stats that we can spew out. No, because we've gone through this transformational journey from within, and we have a lot of damn experience to talk from. That is the new normal. Really, truly embodying the truth, embodying the raw vegan transformation, embodying a higher, lighter, vibrational way of living and being that serves all life. The big win-win-win, the big why. You've come home to your why. You've achieved you're in your vision. You're living it. Your stand matters and you feel it. You know, your mission is at work. You're making a difference and changing the world. That's the new normal. Okay? This is the hero's journey. This is the hero's journey right here, and it's not an easy thing. Normally, when we embark on a hero's journey, we have some sort of a mentor or a guide that comes to us that we find magically, almost as if through some sort of supernatural intervention that leads us across the threshold into the unknown world. We leave the comfort of the known world on this adventure into the unknown world. And we have a guide holding out their hand, asking you to come along, showing you the threshold to the new world. That's me. I'm holding out my hand, asking you to come into this new world, cross the threshold, take the hero's journey. I've developed the support system to help you along every step of the way. It's called Raw Vegan Heroes. It's my group coaching program. It's not only coaching from me, but it is a community. It is a membership of other amazing people from around the world who are on the hero's journey. When you have questions, when you are in breakdown, when you don't know what this detox symptom means, you turn to the group. You turn to me for coaching. You have every step laid out before you with the support of someone who does this professionally for a living. I've coached hundreds of people through this process. So the amazing thing is that Raw Vegan Heroes is only $14.99 a month. It costs the price of a sandwich to be in there for an entire month. An entire year's membership is only $179. You can pay monthly or you can pay yearly, okay? You be in there for a year, you get coaching, and I'll take you through the hero's journey. I'll take you through every step of the process of transformation. Okay, you've got this. I believe in you, and I've set up the systems to make it possible for you for the least amount of money. You can do it on your own, but there's risks, and it takes incredible willpower and strength. Or you can do it as part of a community and take all the pressure off and let me guide you and give you the information you need when you're at the step you need it. So all you do is focus on the step at hand, task at hand, which is detox or enemas or trying to hit that breakthrough or stay low fat 80-10-10 or your bowel transit times or your detox maintenance macros or your cravings or breaking through old patterns, right? All that stuff, you just focus on that. And I'll tell you what's going on with your detox symptoms, what to do next, okay? So this is a big journey, and I really appreciate all of you listening to me and believing in this journey yourself, believing in the power of raw foods to change your life. If you are ready to take this journey, come on, do it. I'm telling you, it's the best thing you could ever do. In 1 year's time, you could transform your life. I support you. I love you guys. And, I'm really here for you. I believe in this journey so much. So if you loved this video, please subscribe to Raw Vegan Rising, subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And sending you all prayers of peace, love, strength, and courage. Okay? Much love, guys. I will see you in the next one.